We would now like to have Kishan Laddha joining us live. Kishan heads Tata Consultancy Services Corporate Social Responsibility for Central India. Today, he will talk to us about witnessing virtue. Over to you, Kishan.
Thank you so much, Prerna. Thank you, everyone, for joining in, for sparing precious 20 minutes of your life, and would be getting into presencing consciousness by witnessing virtues. Would request for 30 seconds of silence from all. Thank you for coming from wherever you are joining in this virtuous circle. So, Pratiksha, if we can go to the first slide. This is me and my daughter Maitri. She is 4 years, 4 months, and it's a beautiful picture. I love it. So felt let me take this opportunity to share it with you all. But there is a reason behind it. Yesterday, when I was reflecting on how to share, how to presence consciousness, how to begin this sharing, was reflecting and got reminded of this incident which happened when she was close to 2 years. She learned how to speak then, and both of us were playing. Both of our heads were a little more closer, and it banged. And it was, in a way, a little strong bang. I could even feel the sound and the pain behind it. When I was feeling the pain, of course, she was quite young. Her pain was definitely more than mine, and she started crying immediately. I didn't know how to react to that. I didn't have a way uh, to express. Possibly, I was not conscious enough to the presencing that was happening there, and I happened to say that, hey, Maitri, even I got hurt. It hurt me as well in my head. And she immediately stopped crying. My wife Ankita was there, and she told, Mama, Papa ko chot lag gayi hai. Mama, Papa got hurt. That was the moment when I took a step back. That wow, this kid of 2 years, and I know for sure, certainly, that this is not something that either of us, neither Ankita or me, practiced with her. She's just two. She might not know what empathy or compassion would be in usual terms, but here is she, 2 years, and demonstrating a deep sense of compassion, that forgetting her pain and relating it with mine, Mama, Papa got hurt. And that was the moment when I got aware, when I reflected, became conscious of the virtues which are there in Maitri, and for that matter, in every one of us. Most of the time, may be dormant. And how do I become aware of that and kind of, do the witnessing of those virtues? Moving to the next slide, Pratiksha. So, right now, where I'm sitting is the space known as toilet garden. It's a Safai Vidyalaya. And as we enter, I came here for the first time in 2009 during a retreat with Teach for India. And we were introduced with this space that, hey, welcome to the Safai Vidyalaya. People have rose gardens, lotus gardens, we have toilet garden. And as I learned the story about this space, I got to know that how the founder, Ishwar Dada, believing in principles of Gandhiji and Vinobaji, witnessed virtues in the poop. We literally felt that deep sense of compassion for mothers and sisters, relating it with the plight that they were having. At the time of independence, there was just 1% toilet in our country, just 1%. Of 100 people, 99 people, of them, all the women would go outside and they would wait for the dark wee hours, either early in the morning or in the evening, so that they can defecate. And because of that, they would go through lots of harassments, health issues, even social issues. This guy realized that to address this, have to love the poop. And for that, what would be the ways to see through that, how this can be disposed? He designed more than 20 toilets. Neither of them was patented. More than that, he did research, literally weighing the poop and seeing that how, what are the ingredients, what are the microbes that are there, what is the depth that go in, that they traverse horizontally or vertically, or deeper into the field, so that according to soil, different kind of toilets are to be designed. Different food habits would have different kinds of food. And with that witnessing of the virtues in that poop emerged, Safai Vidyalaya emerged. Environmental Sanitation Institute emerged, Moved by Love emerged, Seva Cafe emerged, Gram Shri, Mano Sadhana, and lot many different things. And I think that's where I relate that to become conscious of the virtue which is there in the vicinity. Am I present to that? Am I witnessing virtues in myself, in my daughter, in that poop, or whatever the circumstances or people are? Moving to the next one, uh, from Guna Darshan comes naturally the instance of Guna Nivedan, which is to invite those virtues in oneself. The picture shared here, and as we know that these are really difficult times, Corona has impacted almost everyone. And Corona has also provided an opportunity to bring up alive Karuna, which is compassion. And in one of the instance, this is a picture I got from a friend Aditya, who used to volunteer in the slums of Ahmedabad. And a kid, Manav, was staying in a slum in income tax area, and he called Aditya that, sir, we don't have food for next few days. All that we had during the second phase of the lockdown, everything has been gone. We were sharing it with different neighbors, and now there are many neighbors and us who are facing this difficulty. And Aditya had never raised fund, never asked a single penny from anyone. And here is the situation: he cannot go individually, personally, to provide some food supply to Manav and his family, but he witnessed the virtues, and he was invited to witness virtue in Manav, relied on Manav, and went on to ask from friends that what can we do. Within few hours, he got enough commitment from friends so that these 20 odd families can be supported with the ration. How to facilitate that? Manav, this kid, came with this his own data representation, that who are the families, what are the family members, what is their ask or the need. And he prepared this list, he shared it, and then Manav also arranged the local ration wala, discussed with them, created a pact that Aditya can transfer the money online. He can become the catalyst. He knows all the families, and he had a smartphone of one of the relatives so that he can click the picture when the shopkeeper, after receiving money, is facilitating the distribution of the ration. Since Manav is alone there, Aditya cannot go, no one else can be there. He became that catalyst, witnessing the virtues and inviting them. He was able to facilitate ration for so many families. And this is just one instance. I believe that during Corona, all of us who are participating here, or for that matter, anywhere, are witnessing virtues. And the invitation is also coming alive. This is an opportunity to see that what is dormant, how it is popping up, coming alive. Now, after inviting the virtues, in my understanding, to become more conscious, the next phase comes is to embrace those virtues. This picture in the right hand side, as you might be able to see, was clicked during one of my visit to Tihar Central Prison. This is my hand, wherein they would put a stamp on your hand before you would enter there. And it took about 2.5 hours of time after waiting in the lobby to get into the prison for a specific training that we were to provide there, along with one of my colleague, Vidhi. And we were there to impart a training on how to impart functional literacy to the people who are illiterate. Unfortunately, in prisons, there are many people who are illiterate, and there were few who were willing to impart literacy while they themselves had qualification, education, and they just wanted to learn what could be the ways so that we become the catalyst. As we entered there, we were greeted by, of course, the officers and all, and the host of that specific space where we were all sitting was taken care by Mahesh Bhai. And Mahesh Bhai went through this whole training along with 6, 7 other people. They were sort of the teachers to become, who would impart literacy to others after learning how to operate this whole software and methodology behind this. I was curious why Mahesh is so interested. What is it that is inspiring Mahesh to become that catalyst there? What is it that he is witnessing? What are the virtues that he is witnessing? What is it that he's inviting? And how he is embracing it? That embracement I learned later. Mahesh, so out of curiosity, I asked him, Mahesh Bhai, what is it that inspired you? And he shared that there are many brothers, and he was in the prison number three along with other inmates, that many of them are unable to read and write. He shared, unfortunately, we have very rare chances to interact with people like you, and our worldview is very limited. But fortunately, there are many books in our prison. It's been The library is well managed. I can read. I can benefit from the experiences of the people, but not others. And I used to wish. He also quoted this book by Rhonda Byrne. He asked, "Do you know this author Rhonda Byrne?" And I wondered, who is she? He later shared she had written three books, and I asked names, and he shared the secret. I realized, yeah, of course, I heard about that in way back in 2006, 7 sometime. And he shared that, sir, I used to think that these laws of attraction, whether they actually works or not, and here I am witnessing that. I used to think, how can I become that catalyst to impart literacy to others? And you guys came to facilitate us to become those trainers, and so that I can, what knowledge that I am able to have through these books, my other friends in the prison can also have that. I was inspired. Later on, it was already 3 o'clock. We started our journey way back early in morning. So of course, we were hungry. And these guys asked us with immense love, would you like to have food? Uh, and one of them jokingly shared when we were having our late lunch there that you guys are lucky that without being inmate, you are having the food that is cooked in the prison. And we literally felt that, yeah, it's been really an interesting setup that we are having this food. And four of us were sitting, including the Havaldar. By then, we had a good sort of conversation. And Mahesh shared another profound thing with me. He shared that's one thing that I really feel grateful for. I had killed someone 13 years back. This prison number three had long timers inmates there who had committed sort of heinous crimes, but he had that deep sense of repentance and penance in him. I could see that. I could feel that, and he shared that I that moment of rage that I went through, that was unfortunate time for me. But what I am going through right now, I'm repenting it and feeling grateful that people like you are coming, knowing that we are criminals in worldly affairs, still are coming and serving us. And later on, he shared that, sir, we cannot go outside. Literally, we are confined in these four boundaries, but we can always go inside. And that was the instance, one of the biggest learning that I had, that how Mahesh in that setup, most of us are facing working from our home, that how in Corona we are confined in those walls. We have still these means of connecting with each other through these virtual modes, but literally they have only opportunity to go inside. And I think that was one of the practice that I witnessed in Mahesh, that how he's inviting virtues by observing others and by experiencing, not just with the talks, he's embracing those virtues. Moving to the next slide, and I think once this embracement happens through experience, I believe those virtues then further expands. In Hindi, if when we start with Gun Darshan, the next phase is Gun Nivedan. With gentle, hearty request, I invite those virtues in me, and then I expand Gun uh, uh, Samvardhan. And in this Samvardhan, in this particular example, in sync with the practice that Mahesh shared, I got reminded of another friend, Birju, who was working in a corporate, a consultant of high grade, and he performed way beyond the expectation from the team. And the owner of the company asked, "What would you like to receive as a gift?" and gave check in hand, blank check. And this friend shared, if you really are certain, then only I'll speak. Otherwise, I'm good with whatever I'm receiving. The owner shared that, of course, we are really happy with you. Whatever you wish to ask. He asked, can I ask beyond this check? And the person had no option but to say, yeah, of course, you can. I can rely on you. And this friend asked, can you give me a minute before each meeting and a minute at conclusion of each meeting? I want just 2 minutes of time in every an hour's meeting. And this guy was wondering, the owner, have you gone bonkers? 2 minutes means multiplied by, these many seconds, multiplied by these many possible investments that we can transfer, bring in, settle in. This is impractical. We can't have that. This offer was denied immediately, initially, but then the person asked, if you really don't want anything else, let me think through. And later on, he accepted this offer. And this time, what Birju was asking was just the time for the reflection. Over a period of time. The whole team realized that with that settling in that is happening, the virtues that we are witnessing in each other, the invitations that we are giving, and the expansion that is happening, we all can plant those seeds of reflections and the opportunities of taking, measured or better calls was there. And when I heard this practice, the seeds were planted in me a few years back. In my organization in TCS, I shared this idea in sync with the spirit that we pursue here at Gandhi Ashram, that can we start few minutes of silence. Few of us started for a few minutes of silence. Gradually, it extended for half an hour. Gradually, more people started coming in. Last year, this year on 31st of January, we had more than 700 TCS associates sitting in silence in office premises to go within, as Mahesh shared, and to provide that opportunity to settle, to witness the virtuous thing that we are experiencing day in, day out. Moving to the next slide, the seeds that were planted in me with various instances, experiences that I had, the darshan of gunas that I had, the witnessing that I did, helped me to invite those, the virtues, to embrace them in experiential form and to expand it further. During COVID time, when the stress is, increasing manifold times, multiple virtual such sessions are happening in sync with awakens as well. And I was wondering that how these virtues operate, uh, in different setups. One can count how many seeds are there in an orange, but one cannot count how many oranges there are there in that seed. And I think that's how this virtuous cycle of virtues operate. And the more I am in sync with that chetana of those virtues, the more conscious I become. And I believe in our setups, whether being educators or for that matter householders or a corporate person, irrespective of that, am I witnessing those virtues? Am I inviting for those virtues? Am I providing an opportunity to experience and embrace them so that these virtues expands? Thank you so much for providing your precious time once again. Would express my deep gratitude and would love to offer another 30 seconds of silence with the next slide, holding gratitude in my heart. Thank you. Thank you so much.